to This Dementia Life, a monthly podcast created by Dementia Action Alliance. I'm your host, Chuck McClatchy, and I live my dementia life with Alzheimer's disease. During these podcasts, we'll have conversation with inspiring people living with dementia and the people that care about us. My guest today, I'm honored to have Laurie Scherrer, who is an advocate. There's so much. She's an advocate, she's a mentor, she's a public speaker. She is just an incredible lady that gives so much. And Laurie, thank you so much for being with you. You have so much to bring. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, Chuck, thank you. And I thank you so much for inviting me to do this interview. In 2013, I was diagnosed with early onset Alzheimer's and FTD, which is frontotemporal degeneration. First, I went through a series of grief and anger and poor me, pity party. And then I kind of said, I've never lived my life this way. And I kicked myself in the butt and said, come on, do something with your life. And I found out about Virtual Memory Cafe, and I met Robert Bowles and Susan Suchin and some wonderful people that showed me that, number one, I was not the only person in the world under 65 living with dementia. And number two, that I could live a meaningful and beneficial life. And so then I found Teepa Snow actually introduced me to DAA, and I found a home. I found someplace that I can actually have my voice heard and make a difference in this world.
And I guess my first question, you have so much energy and you're so outgoing. What drives you to do this?
I think what drives me to do it is really knowing that I still can have a purpose in life. Being an advocate helps me to live. It gives me a purpose to live. And it makes me feel like I'm still able to accomplish something. No, I can't do a lot of the things I used to do. And some things I can still do, I just have to do them very differently. For example, math. I've almost totally lost my ability to do any math. So that's one of the things that we haven't really found a strategy to overcome yet. But there's a lot of things I can do and still do very well. So why take that and lock it in a closet? I still have so much that I can offer the world. I still have a voice. And sometimes maybe I use it too much, but I do still have a voice. So I just feel as though this is my purpose to keep living. And I can't come up with a cure for dementia, but I can certainly help to make life easier for other people living the disease.
I agree. Watching all the things that you do, you mentioned something important just a few minutes ago about coping strategies. What would you tell somebody that's just kind of accepting the fact that they have dementia on having coping strategies? Because I think that's so important, and you do such a great job of it.
When most of us are diagnosed, the doctor basically says go home and curl up in a corner. However, what my husband Roy and I have learned is there are so many things that cause my dementia to get worse. There's so many things that cause me to have meltdowns. It's so important that you and your partner watch what's happening and try and figure out what's happening so that you know how to come up with strategies for living better. If you don't, then you're going to have a lot of things you can't do. So you need to come up with ways that you can still do things. I have some examples. Do you want to see them? Okay, let me show you. Let me first talk about traveling. I do travel to speak a fair amount, and people say, well, how can you travel? Well, we've come up with a number of strategies. One, an entire outfit goes on a hanger, complete with the underwear, which I'm not going to show you, and the jewelry and the shoes. The whole outfit is on one hanger. And when I get to wherever I'm going, I hang it up. Another is when I pack my suitcase, I spent 20 bucks on these nice little bags from Amazon. Each outfit goes in one of these bags so that when I get to wherever I'm going, I don't have to worry about having, lacy pink underwear with white pants, everything flows. So it goes in one bag. Those are little things that help me to be able to travel. That and this is my card that I give to everyone, whether I'm on an airplane, whether I'm at a restaurant, and it says, please be patient. I have dementia, and I may repeat questions, forget what you've told me, take longer to make a decision. Thank you. This little card has saved me more embarrassment and has helped me so much. I simply hand it to people. They usually will read it and they'll go, oh, okay. But they then approach me with a different attitude. By having strategies in my life, I'm able to continue to make a bed, which there was a point I couldn't make a bed. And we figured out why. I couldn't figure out how to put solid sheets on a bed. We have to have striped sheets because I can follow the stripes. I can't follow the solids. By observing what causes a meltdown, what causes confusion, what causes disorientation, you can make your life run smoother in spite of what the doctor might tell you.
Another question I have to ask you. Hopefully we can put a few videos of you snorkel diving and things like this. Why do you think that's important for people to see, somebody like us out there doing these things?
I started diving when in 1998. And my husband and I were actually assistant instructors at one point. I don't think my life should end because I have dementia. The things that I had fun doing should not end. Now, I will tell you, with diving, there's things we have to do different. For example, I forget how to put the equipment together sometimes. I just totally don't remember how to put the equipment together. So I don't always do my own equipment anymore. Somebody else sets it up for me. We always make sure that 2 people go diving with me so that if I start getting confused or disoriented 100 feet under the water, so I don't hurt Roy, so that there's 2 people to help me to get back up to the top of the water. Skydiving. Boy, I had always wanted to skydive. I always wanted to do that. And my husband never wanted to do that. He said, the only way you're going to get me to jump out of a plane is if it's on fire and you give me a parachute and push me. Whereas I was like, I got to do this. I got to do this. After I was diagnosed, I kind of made my bucket list and skydiving. I got to go skydiving. Let me tell you, I loved it. In the skydiving, it was just so beautiful and so freeing. As I was floating down, I just felt so free and at peace. So I have dementia. I'm not dead yet. I have dementia. And so I want to keep doing all the things, whether it's zip lining. I've done that quite a few times, and obstacle courses above a cruise ship. And I'm a little bit of an adventurer, whatever. And I don't see any reason to stop doing it. That's why I'm going to Africa in March. That's why I'm living as much as I can. Many things I have to do different than I did before, but I'm not ready to stop.
I think what you said is so important. And that's one thing I try to get across to people is once you get diagnosed with this, it's not that you can't do things anymore, but that you just do them a little bit different. Kind of explain the feelings that you get when you do something that you want to do, like the skydiving, the zip lining. There's a feeling inside that maybe you can explain to people and get them to maybe want to try something that maybe they're a little afraid to.
Boy, well, I've always walked a little bit on the danger zone. I went to Mozambique when they were in the middle of a civil war, and passed out food to people that were starving, which most people think was kind of crazy, but I loved it. So I have that little bit of a thrill seeker in me. But the joy you get when you step out of your normal realm to do something that you haven't done before, or do something that you enjoy doing, even though you have dementia, you get a feeling of accomplishment, excitement, and plus you get a lot of people really look at you and say you're nuts. That's fun too. But just knowing that you did it and being able to say, hey, you did it, good job. It's another one of those things that you can feel proud of, and it gives purpose in your life. There's very few things that I'm afraid to do. And there's a lot more things I'd like to be able to do. I think by doing something adventurous, even if it's going for a hike in the woods, but doing something that gets you out of your realm, out of your normal element, it helps you to experience more of the world around you, see the beauty around you, smell the roses. It helps you to expand your life and realize, I'm not this closed up person that has to stay at home all the time.
Now, I know how much of an advocate and speaker you are. Kind of explain, I think, the importance of people just talking, and maybe the reception that you get when you go out and talk with people, or you talk at these conferences, or you're involved in panels, of the importance of putting a face to dementia.
Wow. That is so important, because when I was first diagnosed and they said, oh, you have Alzheimer's, my first image of Alzheimer's was little old people sitting in a wheelchair not knowing their name. And I think for many people, that has been the concept of what dementia was. It certainly was mine. I had never met somebody my age, which I was 55. I'd never met somebody my age with dementia. And then as I got to meeting people and I started speaking, to have people say, wow, you so much helped me to understand this. Or having care partners say, I never knew what my loved one felt like. I never stopped to think how they feel and what they're experiencing. To be able to change the stigma and let people know dementia starts somewhere. It has a starting point, and it doesn't start with you being in a wheelchair and not recognizing anybody or knowing who you are. It starts years before that. And you have an option once you realize what you have the option of hiding or helping other people by speaking out and letting the world know what it's about. to me, I've had so many wonderful experiences where people have walked up after I spoke somewhere and just said, thank you. This meant so much to me. This changed my life. I started by writing a blog, and I would post it on Facebook. And I wrote a blog called Last Night I Wept. And it was all about a meltdown that I had where suddenly I realized what was going to happen to my family, what was going to happen to me, and all the hardships my family was going to have to endure. And I posted that on Facebook, and I had over 500 responses from people living with dementia for saying, thank you for expressing this. I want to share this with my family. And care partners saying, I never knew how my loved one felt. That's what really got me starting in realizing I have an opportunity through my words to help to shape the difference, to take away the stigma of dementia and help make a difference in the world. That's powerful when you can help people to change the way they think and the way they care for and react to people living with dementia. It's just really awesome to be able to be a spokesperson like that, and for someone to want to listen to me. I mean, it's like, why would you want to listen to me? But they do.
That brings up a very good point. Kind of explain how important humor is. I've been around you. You're joking, you're laughing, you've got a smile on your face. Kind of explain why you think that's important, because it is so important, and how humor can just take the edge off of a lot of things, just by knowing that if we can laugh about it, they can laugh about it.
I don't see myself as humorous. I really don't. Stop laughing, Chuck. I don't. And I had somebody walk up to me after one of our sessions and say, oh, you are just so humorous, or you are so funny. And I thought, yeah, but looks aren't everything. But I don't see myself as being funny, but I'm told that I am. I think it's a way of helping to deal with things. I love to see people smile. I love to see people smile. I like walking down the street or through the airport and just looking at people and going, hi. And they're like, yeah, this one's a little, but I love doing that because I like to see people smile. I like to hear them laugh. I also think that by adding humor, especially when you're speaking, it makes an impact. Things that I say that make people laugh are probably a good portion of what they're going to remember. And it also, have you ever been at a seminar where somebody was talking and they go, I have dementia. I am living a very well life with dementia. Okay, like, how fun is that? Forget it. You have to add the enthusiasm and the fun to make people want to hear what you have to say. By adding that, you're giving more voice to the important part of the message.
Well, we're kind of running out of time a little, but I could talk to you forever on this. What would you say to somebody that is viewing this podcast for the first time and maybe just got diagnosed and has all those different feelings? What would you tell them?
Allow yourself an opportunity to grieve. Allow yourself an opportunity to be angry. And then kick yourself in the tush and say, get up and do something. Make a difference. Find purpose in your life. I can't tell you where to find purpose in your life. Some people are writers or bloggers. Some people are speakers. Some people are mentors. Some people just listen. But somewhere, somehow, you need to find a purpose in your life. And that's going to make a whole bunch of difference in how you view the world, in how you view yourself, and how you view your disease. It's a matter of you let the disease rule you, or you take as much control as possible and rule your disease.
Laura, I want to thank you so much for taking the time to talk with us. You're just a great person, such an advocate, such a spokesperson, and I'm proud to call you my friend. I'd like to thank you for joining us today in this Dementia Life. You can view other podcasts on our website, daanow.org, and click on podcast. I'm your host, Chuck McClatch. Remember, the brain may forget, but the heart remembers. See you next time.